Arsenal 0, Newcastle 0, 90 minutes played, 17th game of the season for Arsenal. They are now having 44 points. What a game that really happened at the Emirates Stadium, and Arsenal really put in the desired effort to get a result, but few things really let them down because it looks like they really lacked all some reinforcement from the bench. If at all Arsenal had some players from the bench, they would have gone ahead to do a lot and really change this game of football, but unfortunately they never had squad depth, especially in the forward places, because Newcastle reached an extent when they had accepted that, all right, we have allowed Arsenal to go in and score us, but the intensity was really lacking. Creativity was there, but some good effort was required into this game of football so that Arsenal really gets a result of 3 points. But they've gone ahead to draw, not yet lost at Emirates. This is the first game they've failed to acquire 3 points at Emirates, because they've gone ahead to play very many games at Emirates. They first played against Leicester. They beat it by 4-2. They played against Aston Villa 2-1, Fulham 2-1. They beat Spurs by 2-1. They beat Liverpool by 3-2. They beat Nottingham Forest by 5-0, and they went ahead to beat a team called West Ham by 3-1. Those are 7 games. This was the 8th game at Emirates in the Premier League, and they've gone ahead to really level that game with Newcastle. A very well contested game, a game of halves that the first half was almost dominated by Newcastle, and Arsenal came in the second half when they are fully charged. Arsenal were really in the final third of Newcastle the entire 45 minutes of the second half. But what really failed them to go on and really get this job done is the substitutes they really lacked, and that's why Arsenal should go in and bring in signings as soon as possible. Mudryk, you put him in that game of football and take Martinelli leading the line, Arsenal wins this game of football because he's good at really reducing numbers and really passing past the bodies of the compact defense of a team called Newcastle. Because Newcastle came in through, they never played a high line, they played a deep line, and they really let lots of magic to go all out and really do the needful in this game of football. So Rokani David is my name. Smash the like button, comment and share, and if at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Now, Arsenal are still topping the Premier League table. They are having 44 points, meaning that if at all Man City win on Thursday against Chelsea, they are going to go all out. They are going to go all out and be back to 5 points behind Arsenal. So that is really something great for Man City if at all they win, but they are really having a hard game of Man City. But Arsenal really had some decent minutes, but some penalty calls were into this game of football, but they had some decent display for a man known as Bukayo Saka in the first half. As you see there, he went in for a curling effort, but obviously it never really went well. Even Thomas Partey went in for his accustomed goal, or his trump card goal, but obviously it never really went into the back of the net, and obviously it resulted into the first half ending 0-0. But the first half ended with Joelinton missing a great chance. I'm going to show you that Joelinton chance at the back post. Arsenal certainly started off the brightest, but Newcastle turned out to march into a proper scrap in those 45 minutes of the first half. But neither goalkeeper has had to touch to do, but the referee handed out 5 yellow cards. To me, I really saw this referee dishing out yellow cards and asked myself, what is the importance of him dishing out all these yellow cards? So this is the Joelinton big chance I've been talking about that really happened in the 2 added minutes of the first half. Look at it. Very close range. Very, very close range. Kroos brought in very well, and he was really unmarked. And you look at Saliba, Odegaard, Gabriel Magalhaes, and Martinelli coming out and looking at them and say, oh, we are done, guys. We are done, guys. But lucky enough, the ball is headed over the bar as you see Joelinton going in for it, and it was a free header. This was the biggest chance of the game in the first half, and that was Joelinton coming in through and doing the need through to the ball, but obviously he did nothing to it, and obviously that never went into the back of the net after Xhaka's flick into the begging to the turned home by Joelinton to the back post, but obviously that effort went over the bar. Now, there was a penalty call in the 42nd minute. You see this grabbing. There was this player of Newcastle was grabbing, Ban was grabbing was grabbing Gabriel Magalhaes, and Thomas Partey was grabbing Ban. So it was no penalty ruled by VAR. I think it was really a very good ruling by VAR in this condition, because that is how it was supposed to be. It never needed to be a penalty for a team called Newcastle in that juncture in the 40th minute, because I think everyone fouled one another. And see where the foul started from. It started off from outside the Tina's box area. So even if you are to call for a foul, it has to be taken from this side. So it was a very huge battle. Newcastle coming out and exercising its level that I'm really one of those teams that is ready to go on and really take you on. Remember, Newcastle's going to hit to perform very well. They went to Old Trafford. They got a 0-0 draw. They hosted Man City. They drew 3-3. They beat Chelsea at home 1-0. They lost to Liverpool away. And they beat Chelsea 1-0. So that means that the only team that Man City has gone ahead to lose, that Newcastle has gone to lose to, is Liverpool, and it was a late winner. That's it. So that is it for this club of Newcastle. But Arsenal really came in the second half very, very fired up, and this is an effort that Odegaard delivered into the mixer, and this guy known as Magalhaes went in for a header, and the header really went over the bar. But it was really so close. I think this was the first time Arsenal came close in this game of football to go to it and really deliver a very beautiful game of football. Then later, in the 79th minute, look at this. Odegaard's delivery allowed to travel through the area and is collected at the back post by Xhaka, and Arsenal keep the pressure on. Saka wins another corner with a cross from deep. Look at this cross coming with this corner coming in from Saka. It finds Martinelli, and obviously it goes onto the near post. You are going to see where this had really gone. You see, it missed out on going to the back of the net with the whisker, and the fans near here, the goal area, had even gone into celebration to celebrate this this effort that was delivered by Martinelli, but obviously it never went to the back of the net, and Arsenal were really unprivileged to see that ball go into the back of the net. So these are some of the highlights that I'm showing you that put Arsenal in a favorite position to see to it that they find themselves in the lead, but obviously it looks like the day was not theirs to win. And in the 88th minute, look at how this man known as Nketiah came close. Nketiah came close, really. A goal here would surely be a winner. And Eddie Nketiah was so close to latching onto Odegaard's smart ball forward in the area. He's denied by Pop's legs. These legs of Pop really denied him, and he tries to fire across the goalkeeper. Had to score, really. And obviously, he was close, he didn't score, and not very many chances were created to Eddie Nketiah, and I cannot blame him today, because his main aim as a number 9 for Arsenal leading the line is to give him balls. If you don't give him balls, then he's not going to come out and really function. That's it. So let me tell you this. If I'm a number 9, I expect delivery from the midfield. Odegaard tried out very well, and I think he was the best Arsenal player on the pitch, because he tried to look out for the pockets of space in that back line of Newcastle, but all was in vain, and he couldn't really find or register any success as far as that was concerned. But this chance was really great, created by Odegaard. 86th minute, the game would have been killed off in a minute, but obviously that never went their way. And that really takes us to what Arsenal really had to do in this game of football, because I believe that if at all they really had a luxury to bring on more players on the field of play, Arsenal wins this game. Totally, they go ahead and really win this game, but obviously they never had that luxury, and obviously they went ahead to really lose. To me, I think it's not a loss. It's just a draw where Arsenal need to win this game of football. But I think the Cronkies today are really going to be put onto a very hot spot by Mikel Arteta, telling them, please, look at my bench. I don't have players. Get me players, and I kill off these games. And obviously, that's what he's telling them. And Gary Neville has gone ahead to really hit it on the nail. He has said the following after this game of football of Arsenal. Ordinary, Arsenal would bring on substitutions, change the shape of the game, disrupt the Newcastle defense, but Arsenal don't have the luxury, and it's a big problem, particularly in tight games like this. Obviously, in tight games like this, you need players to come on and kick and really kill off the game of football. Look at Newcastle. They went in to bring in Sam Maxima. Do you know what it means to bring on Sam Maxima in just 6-10 minutes to go? He's really energetic. His physicality is undoubted. But thankfully, Arsenal had brought in Tomiyasu. And Tomiyasu is one of those players that are really hard to beat, especially in 1v1 situations. Then he continued and said, we are only 17 games to the season. There is 21 games left. We knew before the game that Arsenal needed improvements in their squad. And this, I'm sure, will reinforce that. Obviously, I know Arsenal is going to go deep into the transfer window to bring in players. That they are really advanced talks with Mudryk. Second bid submitted. We are waiting to see what the result is going to come out of that bid that is being submitted in there. See to it that they get in Mudryk. I believe if Arsenal gets in Mudryk and the centre forward like João Felix, maybe even a Tielemans in that midfield, I think things really change a lot for that Arsenal side. Because even if the game is like that and you bring on Tielemans for Granit Xhaka, you bring on João Felix for Edin Nketiah and Mudryk for Martinelli, all for Bukayo Saka, because Bukayo Saka today looked really bad. He really looked bad according to me. He looked like he's not up there to where he has been. And I've always come out and told you this. I think Bukayo Saka's most weapon is because he's scoring goals. But apart from scoring goals, what else is he giving the club? This takes me back to the summer when Mikel Arteta wanted Rafinha. You put Rafinha into that game on the right attacking side of the midfield. He brings that ball and takes off players of Newcastle and really creates something, because Bukayo Saka couldn't really take off bodies. That's the problem. In the first half, he made a very good diagonal run. He made a very good run and he really released but things never went as planned. I think that's when Martinelli released Granit Xhaka. Let me have a look at that. I had not shown you that, but I think I have it here. This chance that resulted into this Granit Xhaka effort was created by a player called Saka. Saka made a very good run. Edin Nketiah played him in the first third of the Arsenal side. Then he really made a run of close to 20 or 40 yards and then released Martinelli. Then Martinelli released Granit Xhaka, and Xhaka really went in for a sliding effort that really went in the side net. So I think that's one of the only vibrant moment that we remember from Saka. Not so. Is there any other moment? So I believe Saka needs to lift his stockings up, because these are games you are supposed to come out and announce yourself. You get? If you're really good enough, you're supposed to announce yourself in a game like this of Newcastle to show to it that you can come in through and single-handedly win this game for Arsenal. So see what Odegaard did. For him, he gave them the balls, but they couldn't score. You get? There is even a ball that he looped over the defender that found Edin Nketiah, and Edin Nketiah was trying to make a spin or to make a turn that he made in that third goal of West Ham, but the defender really defended him very well, because he found himself in a forest of legs of the defenders of Newcastle. That's it. But the rest of the game, I think Bukayo had nothing to offer. That's why you need to go in and really sign in players, and that is the club known as Arsenal. If at all they don't, they are going to drop more points. But if at all they want to win this trophy, they need to go all out and really get in what we call players of a very good quality to come in and really get the job done. 0-0. Arsenal have gone ahead to do the needful, but obviously it all ends in vain at the Emirates. But let's talk about the referee. The referee really had lots of calls to make that we are stupid, according to me. You can't dish out yellow cards like that when a person is making a first foul. You get? That's it, because that of Odegaard, it was uncalled for. I think in the first half, he would have, even Edin Nketiah, I think in the first half, it would have ended when no one has gotten a yellow card, because this is a game of high pressure and magnitude. You need to observe the best of your refereeing decisions. You just don't come out and start dishing out yellow cards like that. That's why I like the World Cup. The World Cup was really great, and I liked it because they never dished out cards like that anyhowly. You get? So I believe the referee needed to go on and do the needful to get him there. But Arsenal really went ahead to change the game tactics in the second half. But obviously things never went the right way. They really had to go in through. And that calls in for more signings because they are needed badly. When you look at the stats, Arsenal had 17 shots. Newcastle had 8. It shows you how Arsenal came in through and overturned everything in the second half. 4 shots on target for Arsenal. These are really minimal. They had to have like 9 shots on target. And if at all they averaged 9 shots on target, they would have really gotten one past the goalkeeper, known as Pope, for Newcastle. Then 1 shot on target for Newcastle, meaning that Arsenal had a watertight defense of a match. They had 8. None of the shots went on target, and maybe Ramsdale had nothing to do in that entire game. 67% possession by Arsenal. This was expected because we knew that Newcastle was going to play a deep line, leave the ball to Arsenal and hit them on the break, but well defended by Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes. 253 passes completed by Newcastle. Then 86 passing accuracy for Arsenal, 71% passing accuracy for Newcastle. 10 fouls for Arsenal, 16 for Newcastle. 4 yellow cards to Arsenal and 5 yellow cards to Newcastle. 0 red cards to both sides. 1 offside for Arsenal and 4 for Newcastle. 5 corners for Arsenal and 5 corners for Newcastle. They leveled into that game of football, but Arsenal really went ahead to do the needful in that game of football. Now, as the table stands, Arsenal is having 17 games played and they have gathered 17 points. They've gone ahead to win 14 games, draw 2 and lose 1. They've scored 40 goals and conceded 14, a goal difference of 26, and they're having 44 points on top of the Premier League table. Man City, 16 games played as usual. They're having 36. They're playing Chelsea on Thursday. Then Newcastle have played 18 games. They're having 35 points in the 3rd position, meaning that right now Arsenal is 9 points ahead of Newcastle. If they win the game in hand they have over Newcastle, they go to 12 points. Then Manchester United has won its game by 3 goals to nil, and if United goes ahead to win its game they have in hand, they are going to be 3 points ahead of Newcastle, but they would have even been in the 3rd position, whereby the goal difference is really low. Today they've gone ahead to score 3, and they're having a goal difference of 7, meaning that another clean sheet has been kept at Old Trafford, and obviously it's great. So that's how the table is standing, and obviously thank you for watching in. That has been my match reaction for Arsenal 0, Newcastle 0. I'm returning back with the player ratings. You know, we are having a very tight schedule in here for you, but we will make sure we get everything done and dusted here onto the Rokani Media Football. So your reactions are welcome to Arsenal 0, Newcastle 0 in the comment section below. Do you think the referee officiated the game very well? Where did Mikel Arteta get it wrong? I believe there is nowhere he got it wrong, because even when you saw that he needed to bring on players, he had no player to bring on. That's why he brought on Tomiyasu. I think that's the only substitution he made in that entire game of football. So he had nothing to do, and this is where he needs to go all out and call in for substitutes that would have, and call in for players that are really going to act as subs. When you look at the table, when you look at the bench of Arsenal, they had KNT and he wouldn't help. Rob Holding couldn't help. Fabio Vieira, not really, because he couldn't play in that Odegaard position because Odegaard had really dominated the game. Sambi Lokonga couldn't help. Elneny couldn't help. Marquinhos couldn't help. Matana couldn't help. And Nathan Jeremy couldn't also help. So he needs to be backed into this winter transfer window. And before the end of this week, Arsenal have to make a signing because there are some huge games coming. They are playing Spurs. They are playing Manchester United. So I believe by the time they play Spurs, they should get in a signing. So thank you guys for watching in through. A sign out for now. See you later. Smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe. I'm returning with the player ratings. I hand you over to the mental to place your banner this night. Congratulations to everyone that is really watching this channel, and you guys are really making us proud. I'm out.